this. Someone flips me a back body. So it's another one, yeah. It's a full run, yeah. Oh, it's another one, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to iBoxingHub. If you're new to this channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe. I go by the name of Biyenge, featuring yours Truly Tre. What's good?
Yo, what's going on, cuz? Big up to you, and big up to the community that's tuned in. Happy blessed Sunday. Cuz, I don't even know where we start. The week has been truly tremendous. Yeah, we've obviously had an instant classic in the event. But yeah, before we get into the show, before we get into introductions, of course, we're wearing D-Rock right now. So here's a quick word from our sponsors, D-Rock Clothing. Yes, people. So that's D-Rock in association with iBoxingHub. So people take advantage of the discount code, which is iBoxingHub24, and you get 40% off everything. So if you like what I'm wearing, if you liked what my cousin was wearing during his little session, please head over to the description and utilize that discount code. But yeah, peeps. Obviously, you've got FK Breeze in the chat. Big up FK Breeze. He's obviously saying, lads, big up to you, my brother. Thank you so much for tuning in. And big up to Andrew as well. He's obviously tuned in and he's saying, happy Sunday. I hope you've all recovered from an epic night of boxing. I've literally just about recovered. I'm not even going to lie to you. It's been tremendous. But, cuz, before we get into the show properly, we obviously have to pick up the whole of the iBoxingHub family, because throughout the week we've been able to cover the content, we've been able to cover the build-up as well. And I just wanted to give also a special shout out to, you know, our superstar Abbas. You know, this is him at WrestleMania, man, but he obviously ended up going to the presser and, you know, having a quick question with Eddie Hearn. So people, if you haven't seen the shorts, head over to the channel. But I've actually got a clip from Abbas at the presser.
You kind of just answered it a little bit, but Connor's alluded to wanting the rematch. But if you had to pick an option right now, would you like him to take the rematch or fight at a natural weight for it?
I would like to see him return to 147 pounds and fight for a world title there. I mean, look, we have Boots there. Obviously, he's looking to unify and become undisputed and move up. The belts are going to become available. I just know that Conor Benn can sell out any arena in the UK now, fighting at 147 pounds. But the public, His Excellency, everybody's going to want, you know, you heard His Excellency in the ring. He's already, I think he's booked the date here for September. That's right, yeah. So, look.
Yeah, I don't want to just play the rest of the clip. So people just head over to the shorts and listen to the whole powerful message from Eddie and back at Conor. But cuz I've said too much, let's get down to business. I want to get to know your thoughts, of course. Big up to Eric as well. Big up to Eric, ERF. He's obviously saying, what a night, what a fight. Big up to you and big up to Abbas. And that was a movie yesterday, Better Than Sinners. Ain't watched it yet, but real life gladiator shit, bro. 100% agree. And I hope you guys enjoyed this tremendous show. Cuz, let's get down to business, man.
All right. Okay, the first fight on the card, I caught up towards the end. It was Chris Smith and Brandon
Patton.
Yes. Yes. I just literally caught up round 10, so I don't know how the fight went. Obviously, William Smith got the win, so I don't know if it was a close one. But the next fight card, Chev and Vidal Riley. Now that was a good fight, because I said it myself. I said, you know, I think I said this. I said, you know, I think Vidal Riley's gonna pull it off, but Look what he done. Look what he done. If anything, he made it look so easy. He was cruising. You know, he was cruising. It's you know, it's wow. You know, done it in his hometown. You know, I mean, so what's next for Chev? Is he gonna fight Isaac Chamberlain, and then the winner perhaps gets a challenge with Vidal Riley? Because at this present moment, yeah, Vidal Riley doesn't really need to fight Isaac Chamberlain. Doesn't. Yep. He can, but he doesn't.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you, because I don't know if you're just frozen there, but it's all good. Yeah, I definitely think that fight for Vidal Riley was a, you know, not I wouldn't say a cruise, but it was more of a situation where he was boxing well. You know, he needed a tough challenger. And one of the good things that I like when you mix boxing and football is the rivalry, because it felt like it was a North London derby.
But I mean, before the fight, who did you have winning? What was your prediction? I can't hear you.
Yeah, we spoke on the phone prior. Obviously, big up to Mr. Neutral, saying great card, great fights. Main event was everything we hoped for. Terrific night of boxing. Tom, thank you so much for tuning in straight from Insta. I believe Vidal had an unbelievable fight. So smart, looked like an experienced champion. Yeah, cuz we was on the phone. We spoke about it. I definitely felt that Vidal was obviously going to win that fight because he's boxing IQ. I felt that he's a very smart boxer. He was, you know, he found his range really well as well. He was coasting, combinations, you know, the foot movement as well. I just like the way he moved around the ring. So it was more of his ring generalship for me. And I think Tom just said it best in the comments, man. I think he looked like an experienced champion. So yeah, so big up to the realist, man. You know, he produced. You know, as a Spurs fan, we don't know when we're going to see Spurs, you know, lift a trophy, but this is going to be the closest thing in a long time. But nah, big up to Vidal Riley, produced a tremendous fight. And yeah, cuz, man. Chev Clark, what's next for him? Isaac Chamberlain. Let's go for
it. Yeah, well, look. Yeah, Isaac Chamberlain, it makes sense. The way I see it makes sense. Him fight Isaac Chamberlain, the winner. Well, I don't know, because with Vidal Riley, I suppose he's going to defend the title about what 2 or 3 times and perhaps challenge for the European. You know, because he said it from the get go. He wants to become a world champion, and I can see that happening later on. You know, in a few years' time.
No, definitely, 100% agree with you. In regards to the next one, Cuds, man, obviously. We're kind of breezing through this, man, because I know everyone wants to kind of get into that main event, man. But quick shout out to Aaron McKenna. You know, it was a tremendous performance. You know, it was like we saw. Unfortunately, Liam Smith. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, moving forward, is he going to continue to fight? Is his resilience still the same? We're not too sure, but McKenna showed his class. They call him the silencer. You know, he's not much of a talker, but in the ring, you know, he spoke, you know, without words, man. So big up to McKenna, man. It was a tremendous performance, I would say. Coming of life performance, I would say.
Yeah. Next. Well, okay. Co-main event. I'm gonna have to be real. And I have to be honest. I wasn't really impressed, if I'm honest with you. I expected more and I expected better, if I'm honest. Some say the outcome, I mean, don't get me wrong, you are on the fight, but what was your views on the fight?
The fight could have gone either way. It was a bit of a... I would say Lindenhofer boxed really well at the beginning. You know, he's coasting. But then there were a few swing rounds in the middle part of the fight, and then obviously the championship rounds. I think we actually spoke about it in the chat. It was going to be a big championship round for Yard. If he had any chance of winning this fight, he needed to, obviously finish the fight strongly. And in the end, he did what he needed to do to get the victory, man. So, big up to Yard. He done what he needed to do. It wasn't the cleanest, but look, we see what happens next, man. And come on now, who was impressed? FK Breeze is just obviously saying he wasn't really impressed. And big up to, a special shout out to Palamos Music as well, man. We ain't seen you in a minute, my brother. Hopefully you're well. He's saying, evening peeps, hope all is well with you guys. Who've been super busy. So I haven't viewed for time. Yeah, no, bro, man. It's all good, my brother. It's good to just have you in, man. And Eubank versus Benn was the quickest 36. Yeah, you know what, my brothers? I agree. Obviously, Chris is going to just leave us for a sec. So I'm just going to entertain you guys here. So in regards to the fight itself, I'm just going to... look, I'm reading what FK Breeze is saying. Undercard lacked. I really like Vidal. Yes, cuz you back.
Yeah.
Yes. So FK Breeze is just saying undercard lacked. I really like Vidal, but I don't know if the casuals will like him going forward. Maybe he comes up lively with a live opponent, which is fair. It is a fair point. But Yard, cuz I'm not even gonna lie, let's just see the Yard versus Buatsi fight now, man. I'm getting tired of the waiting, man. If I'm honest with you, man, they've gone around, they've done everything else. It's time now, cuz, man. These two just need to lock on, and let's just get this fight on, man. So, what you saying about that?
I don't know. Do you know what?
It's a weird one.
It's a weird one because for the boxing fans, do they want to see Yard fight Buatsi, or would they want to see Yard fight Callum Smith, or even challenge Benavides? Do you know what I mean? So it's just one of them ones where maybe if Yard was to lose his next fight, maybe he can entertain Buatsi, because as far as I'm concerned, Buatsi, he's happy to entertain allegedly Ben Whittaker. So I don't know. At this present moment, yeah, I believe the fight can still happen. Would it be as big as it was before? I don't know.
No, it's fair. It is a fair point. And big up to Ra Hakam, all the way from Punch Out Boxing. So people, if you don't know what he's doing, just head over to his channel, Punch Out Boxing, and you see the tremendous work that he's been able to do, man. And Tom's obviously saying I'm a big Yard fan, but I feel like his time to become world champion has passed. Ra's obviously agreeing as well. And now get Buatsi more money, because all of the options are high risk of losing. That's what I'm thinking as well, man. I think this fight now, I think it needs to happen now, because if they kind of sway and go into different routes again, they could mess up the bag. Now I feel like the opportunity is now. Let's get the fights on. I don't know who Buatsi is scheduled to fight next, man, but Yard's obviously done his thing. Let's get these guys on, man. So maybe the winner should fight, fight for world title, man. So does Yard need to change trainer? Ooh, this is an interesting question. Yard versus Buatsi can do Wembley Arena easily. Definitely, easily.
I believe they can also do Torino.
Yeah.
Be able to. So are we saying Buatsi and Yard? It has to be a main event.
If I'm honest with you, it doesn't have to be a main event. It doesn't have to. As you've seen from this card, for the fight that we've obviously the card that we watch over the weekend, you can kind of incorporate it as a part of a card that's been headlined by someone else. So it could be the co-headliner, like it was for this this fight that's obviously happened. So let's see. It's one of those questions, man. We just don't know. But Palamos, he's loyal to Tunde. Yep, I 100% agree. Too late to change for Yard. 100%. If Smith fights Benavides for the WBC, they can make it an interim, which is interesting. Big up to JDM. Yard should have changed trainer years ago. I would say after the Kovalev beatdown. Casuals won't know that Bivol is the real champion anyway. And FK Breeze is saying, nah, this should be a main event. So we're getting mixed reviews here. We're saying main event. You're saying O2 Arena, Wembley. You know, cuz if the promoters are listening, let's get on.
Yeah, well, this is it now. Let's talk. The main event. The main event. Remember I said to you from the get-go, because I said, you know what? I've got a feeling Senior's gonna arrive. He's gonna be there.
Yeah.
I said, I think all of this, it's all mind games. It's all mind games. And when I saw Senior, I'm not gonna lie, it seemed like a WrestleMania moment. I was so excited. I started screaming. I was like, I was screaming because literally, when I saw Senior, I said to everyone, I said, you know what? I even said in the group chat, I said, Eubank ain't losing. There's no way he's losing. No, he's not losing.
Yeah, man, the way Senior pulled up, man, it was just a tremendous moment. And especially when they just came out of the elevator as well, man, that was the moment when he was like, yeah, we've got, you know, the complete package to the main event, man. So, no, big up. It was a great moment, especially with both fighters, legendary entrances as well. And it was good, obviously, to see both legends, you know, embrace in the center of the ring, of course, man. But cuz what a fight! And look, I'll put my hands up here. Put my hands up. I wasn't in favor of this fight, but you know, as you saw the build up, as we got invested in the whole let's say storyline, you know, like WWE, it felt like, you know, being a kid again. You know, watching the storyline for like The Rock versus Stone Cold, and we're watching the whole build up until the big WrestleMania, and it just felt like I think boxing won on that night, man. It was a back and forth contest, of course. You know, Conor gave it his all, but you know, Eubank just on the night, man, just showed, you know, he had his dad's grit to withstand, you know, everything that came their way, man. But look, just great moment, cuz, man, for boxing, just seeing these guys do their thing, man. And cuz, as a Eubank fan, man, you know me, man. I'm happy, man. My boy, man, just, you know, got his victory. And yeah, it'll be interesting just to see, you know, what happens next, man. Look, chat's going crazy right now.
We all had our prediction, yeah. Everyone had their prediction. We said, look, this fight is in favor of Conor Benn, because obviously Eubank had the reaction of the clause. Now, obviously, Conor couldn't make 160. Well, what? He made 157, obviously, on the day, whatever. But he was the aggressor. Do you know what I mean? I give it to him. From round 1 to 5, he was slick. He was the aggressor. And don't get me wrong, he rocked Eubank a couple of times, but then it makes sense. Think about it. Like, he's trained out. Do you know what I mean? But Eubank just showed that he had heart, because they started trading. And I love the ref. I'm not going to lie. The ref let them trade. And yes, some say it will be a close fight, but some of Conor's punches, some of them didn't really land, you know. So some of them he missed. A few of them he missed.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Same as Eubank, don't get me wrong. But I feel that Eubank landed, I'll say he landed his punches landed clean. Do you know what I mean? He also rocked Conor as well. But Conor, he's got heart. I rate him. He's got heart. Like, literally, what he showed yesterday, yeah, he can be the next superstar. You know, he can definitely be the next superstar. He's basically the face of Matchroom, you know, once AJ's gone. Because what he showed, what he had yesterday, like, he generally doesn't like Eubank Jr. Doesn't like him. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't like him at all. But them two there, I feel that they've got mutual respect. They don't like each other, but there's mutual respect, because they gave it all. They gave it all. You know, at one stage, Eubank's legs went. I thought, oh, he's going to knock him out. And at one stage, Conor got wobbled. And at the last round, I think it was round 12, Conor was tired. You can see he was tired. Same as Eubank. See all them punches? He was tired. energy wasn't there, but the heart was there. Some say, oh, it was a robbery. I don't think it was a robbery because the judges, all three of them scored the same. Was it 112, 116? I'll say if anything, Eubank just edged it for me. Eubank Jr. just edged it for me. But here's the thing now, Conor obviously is a 147, right? Now they're talking about rematch. Should he take that rematch?
Oh, wait, good question, cuz. Wait, hold on. Big up to Exactamundo. I believe this is the first time on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. That fight, the build-up, senior arriving like that, the entrance, it was perfect. This is the fight that our generation was stamped down in British folklore. 100% lived it. We agree with you. That was a tremendous point. Exactamundo, big up to you, my brother, man. And Ben needs a charm offensive. Okay, the fans ain't buying him to him yet. Okay, no, it's fair. Rather he fights back at welterweight. This is exactly what I'm thinking, Ra. And Conor, still a bad boy, regardless of the past. He can cause massive problems at welterweight. That speed is too wicked. 100% agree. And Palumbus is saying no. And Eddie Hearn said he wants him to go back down. Exactly. And Tom is obviously saying Conor might have the speed, but he was so wild last night. Imagine him against Boots. You know what? But I think let's do this. Obviously, because you asked about the rematch. Me personally, I think what we saw there was enough. You know, I think we don't need to see a rematch right now. These are the two reasons why I'm saying. One, we saw Junior, going down at that weight, 160. I know he's fought there for, many years, man, but I think the next stop has to be 168 now, man. Just move up in weight so you can add, a few more pounds so the weight draining process isn't too bad. And I think because of a fight like that, he can draw a possible fight with El Presidente in the UK. That is more of a possibility now. I know he hasn't got I wouldn't say he doesn't have the world-class ability, I would say, but his presence and the way he's known in the UK, the way he's loved globally, just through what he's been able to do, I think, that would be a fight that everyone would still tune into, especially if you got Senior again coming out the ring with him, man. I think that would be truly tremendous, man. And I think in a fight like that, you just never know. And Conor Benn, like I was about to say, I put my hands up, man. Conor Benn truly did earn my respect, especially the way he fought on the night, man. It was very reminiscent of when their fathers fought, man. They're both wearing the same shorts. I don't know if anyone noticed, man, but they kind of wore the same shorts as their dads on that day, man. So it was very symbolic, especially how that fight went on. And I would like to see Conor Benn, compete at welterweight. He's got a few picks on who to fight. I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but Boots might do XYZ. Look, Eddie Hearn has Boots. Eddie Hearn has Conor. So, he could make the fight, no problem. And Mario El Azteca Barrios, let's not doubt my boy as well, man. He's gonna come to fight as well, man. But that is probably a fight that Conor Benn's looking at next because he wants to, replicate what his dad's been able to do, which is become WBC champion. So Eddie said any rematch should be fairer by Eubanks coming down. Oh, come on, man. Like, no, he doesn't need to come down anymore, man. I feel like if Chris wants a world title, his best bet would be to fight Adames but 168, Adames wouldn't. Yeah, which is true, because I think, I don't know who said it in the group, but we are at a point where Junior's kind of too big for middleweight, but then when he was a super middleweight, he was too small for that. So he's literally bang right in the middle. Or if he still wants to do these kind of fights, man, then Billy Joe, bring him back.
You know what? I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
Billy Joe Saunders, I think if this rematch doesn't happen with Conor Benn and Eubank, because Turkey Al Sheikh said if they're not injured, it'll happen again in September in Tottenham. They should do it in Wembley. I reckon if they've done it in Wembley, it'll do 100,000. 100,000.
It would, cuz, man. But I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You know, as a fan, yeah, I would love to see scraps, man. But at the same time, I'm kind of thinking about both fighters here, man. I don't want them to kind of damage themselves even more.
Of course,
Obviously, I know it's going to be a big payday, and both guys are gonna, you know, be paid handsomely or whatever, man. But I kind of want Conor to just go back at welterweight. That's his natural weight. Let Eubank kind of focus and, you know, do other fights as well. And maybe, I don't know, in a year's time or whatever, should they cross paths when Conor has more experience? Because you can clearly see that it wasn't just, you know, if it wasn't for his grit and his dad's heart, man, then, you know, that fight could have obviously ended as a certain way, man. But I reckon with experience, he can get better as a fighter.
What weight is Billy Joe Saunders carrying at the moment?
Cause he for me, he's cruiserweight right now, man. The way he's walking around weight, he's like cruiserweight right now, Billy Joe.
It's gonna be a tough one, and for him to fight Eubank, I suppose I don't think Billy will be able to make it to super middleweight. He probably can, but it's gonna be tough.
He won't, man. It would have to be a catch weight.
But then, if it's a catch weight, would it be a fair fight? The reason why I was asking you this, because if Eubank was to fight Conor Benn, it would have to be a catch weight.
But this, you know, I see what you're trying to do, because you're kind of just putting the rematch agenda out there, man. But for me, I don't want to fight again, man.
I'm just saying, because look, Eddie Hearn's talking about, rematch. Eubank has to come down. Forget it. Eubank, he's come down. He done what he needs to do. He won. He got paid. If anything, now rematch, it should be on his terms. You know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, literally, with Billy Joe and Chris, it has to be a catch weight. And if Chris was to fight Conor Benn, make it a catch weight. Because Conor Benn's shown he's got heart already. He's shown that he can do it. He generally doesn't like him. So I suppose it's different when you don't like this person. You're going to go in.
I know, man, but I think we saw there, and plus, because it's 2-0 as well, because I don't want to see another one, man. Like, that's
the thing.
I want to see another one.
It's 2-0 in terms of the names, right? Them two, all right, put it this way. Just put it this way. They were to rematch, and Conor Benn beats Bank Jr. Technically, in this generation, is 1-1. So, in theory, we're going to have to see a trilogy. Unless Eubank does it again. That's how it's going to go. More money.
Yeah, it's just, I think what we saw now was just the best scenario, man, because I don't see Eubank boiling down to that weight again, man, and I don't see Conor going back in middleweight anytime soon, man. I think both guys, especially, I'm more thinking about Conor Benn, man, because he's the younger fighter. You know, he's got years of life ahead of him as well. I would want him to kind of build that experience, you know, let him go fight at a weight that he's comfortable at, welterweight. Let him just do his thing. And then once he's become champion, and if Junior's still around, then they can kind of cross paths again. And if he wants to decide to move up or to do a catch weight or whatever, then do it, man. But as of right now, I wouldn't want to see it. But Eubank Benn 2 is big, but Benn talking the rematch will end up, yeah, it's true. Taking a rematch, yeah, it is true. Eric is speaking nothing but facts here. And Eubank just grab another bag and fight Jake Paul. So Palamos is saying Jake Paul. No, big up, man.
So you're saying no to the rematch and fight Billy Joe Saunders at catchweight?
I would say that's one option. I'm sure he's got quite a few different options, but if like a Billy Joe fight doesn't happen, you've obviously got a Canelo fight. If he still thinks he can make middleweight, why not try chase one of these champions? Adamez, you know, Janubek. Like, I want him to become champion. Just as a fan, of him. I want him to kind of get one of those recognized titles so that no one can chat to him about, oh man, you just won the IBO title, man. That's all you've won. So I kind of want him to, you know, just for the sake of it, man.
I think Eubank's at this stage where, because he's, well, the closest world title that he's won is the IBO. I don't think he cares about the titles, because his name alone carries weight, and you know he's a prize fighter, pay-per-view. So for him, I think it's just the biggest fight out there with the biggest money. So it's just like, okay, let's just say if the rematch of him and Conor doesn't happen, his next opponent will most probably be Kell Brook.
Man, what's this? These it don't sound like it. I'm not gonna lie to you, cause like when you're saying these names, it just doesn't give me that, because Kell Brook's done, man. Like I'm a big Kell Brook fan. You've seen him in the video, everything, man. I don't want to see him come out of retirement and, you know, get into those kind of fights, man. Whereas I want Eubank to focus on active fighting now. Someone
like Kell Brook, yeah, is easy money. Someone who's a world champion, I don't know. It depends how much he really wants it.
You'll get no credit for that, cuz, man. Like, there's no, you won't be doing that to Kell Brook, man. You know.
Okay, I'm just throwing this out there. You're saying that he'd get no credit fighting Kell Brook, yeah, but yet you're saying he should fight Billy Joe Saunders. But no one cares about that fight. Billy, ever since Billy lost to
Eubank cares about that fight, cuz. Eubank cares about that fight. You know, there was a little documentary. I don't know if you remember, yeah? It was like 6 minutes. I remember just going through the comments on YouTube. I think the Zone put it out. I think this was just before his first fight, his fight in Saudi Arabia. And they asked him about the Conor Benn, Canelo, and Billy Joe Saunders fights. And he said all those fights will happen. All those fights will happen. He's obviously ticked off Benn, Canelo, and the reason why he would want that Billy Joe is because it's 1-0 Billy Joe. He wants that revenge, man. That's something that you couldn't care about what the fans think, man. He wants that revenge for himself as a competitor. So I would more lean towards Eubank versus Billy Joe than Eubank versus Ben Brook next. What's this? I don't want to see Brook back, man. That guys, man. Tell me why do you want Kell Brook back, man? He's a retired fighter. Like I wouldn't want to see him back in that, man. And Billy Joe done that. That fight won't happen. Yeah, he won't fight again, which is fair. It fits business model of Matchroom, which is fair. And Eubank will wait for Canelo. I do understand that as well, man. World Cup. Yes, please, Eric, please preach. This is what I'm saying, cuz, man. Forget these gimmick fights, man. Let these guys go for world titles now, man. Just go for world titles, man.
Eubank, if he gets to fight Canelo, that fight, Canelo should fight Eubank here, stadium. It will do Wembley Arena.
No, this is Canelo bigger. Wembley Stadium.
Sorry. Wembley Stadium. Sorry.
Yeah, man, you got to do Wembley Stadium, cuz. Nah, man, nah.
At Wembley Stadium, Canelo and Eubank Jr. Wembley. And do you know what? Here's a joke. If Eubank Jr. beats Canelo, right? No one can say anything to Eubank. Not even Billy Joe Saunders. Nobody can say anything, and he can just retire there and then be like, you know what? I've worked all my life, got this opportunity. I'm now unified the super middleweight division. I'm gone. Simply the best.
Simply the best. No, exactly that, man. And Tom, obviously, I'm going to read out his question. He's saying, "Is it just me, but who thinks Canelo would annihilate Junior? I don't want to see that." Ooh. You know what? That might be the case, but I just think just for, you know, a big name being able to bring Canelo into the UK, Eubank kind of fits the bill for that kind of commercial name that can bring a fighter like a Canelo to, you know, the UK, regardless if it's an annihilation or not, man. I'm sure it'll be great entertainment, man. But Canelo too big and strong for Junior. We don't know, man. We don't know, man. We don't know. We don't know yet. We was saying that, you know, Eubank was going to be too big and too strong for Benn, and look what happened, man. So, you know.
So do you know what? It's funny you say that, right? Look at the outcome of Eubank and Conor Benn. Conor Benn moved up 2 weights to fight Eubank. Crawford move up to fight Canelo.
Yep.
The possibility that Crawford could be Canelo.
You're right. You know what? After what we saw yesterday, cuz, man, I definitely had some humble pie, man, because I didn't think that this fight was gonna go to 12 rounds, man. Obviously, rooted for Junior. Big up to everyone that got involved in the poll as well. Most people went for Eubank Jr. to get the win. 27% did go for Benn. But yeah, I think it is definitely a situation where it's exciting times, cuz, man. It's exciting times. Can't relax, cuz.
Canelo and Crawford, has it been? Is it definitely happening, or are they still in talks?
It's still in talks, man. I think it's still in talks, but I think it all depends on what happens in this William Skull fight. You know, he's got his fight with William Skull that's coming up next week. It's very, very soon. So, you know, should he, and we all do believe he's gonna, you know, get the job done, then potentially that fight could happen in September or in the end of the year, man. It just depends on injuries, if anything happens, etc. So, yeah. Eric's obviously saying I'm the biggest Junior fan, and whoever people say will beat him, bring it on. Yep, that's it, Eric, man. That's what I'm saying, my bro. Team Eubank all the way, my brothers, man. Team Eubank all the way. So, yeah, man.
Because it's just like I said, yeah, if Eubank decides to fight Conor Benn, we're going to see a trilogy. It's going to come to a point where it's going to be like another Wilder and Fury.
It's got, you know what? It's got the potential to do it, but like their dads at first, you know, the rematch didn't happen straight away. It happened, you know, later on. So I think let two fighters go in different paths, man. Because the reason why I'm trying to push the narrative of let Conor Benn just go back to welterweight is because he's super talented. He's got heart. He's, you know, he's driven. I still want him to have a lot longer in the sport, man. Having wars with Eubank like that can, you know, be mental for your career, man. He's right now as well. Like, wishing him a speedy recovery. Junior, wishing him a speedy recovery as well. And these are the things that us fans, we don't think about. We love them to, you know, be punching their heads off and doing all of that, man. But the aftermath, this is what the aftermath is, man. So let both fighters, man, go in separate routes. I think they can revisit the opportunity of a rematch maybe next year, or just depends, man. I want to see Conor Benn at world level, man. I want to see him fight Barrios or Boots, or I kind of want to see now. We kind of had the unknown about if he's ready to be at that level. After that performance, he's ready, man. He's ready. He's ready.
Yeah, no, of course. No, you're right. I mean, even the question that Abbas asked Eddie Hearn said, I'd rather see him go back to 147, because it's true. Because you know you don't want to damage your body. Yeah, I'd say, and not even that. You talking about them two fighting 2 years down the line?
Yeah,
Eubank, you know, in the next 2 years, he might be done. Do you know what I mean? Because to be fair, he's got nothing else to prove. He's been in the wars, he's done it, you know, and he's been a good ambassador for boxing, because look, Eubank, he's the guy. He is the man.
The Exactamundo saying go in a different path and then come back to Eubank when he's 37. Look, he can't drop in weight. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, we've experienced that fight once. It was a fantasy. I think that's enough, man. We don't need to see that again. we don't need to see that again, man. I kind of like. I don't want to be that guy that's that a party pooper, man, but I gotta keep it real, man. I'm just speaking as a fan that I would rather see Conor Benn just focus on being a world champion, and we could see what happens from there, man. Yeah.
Good question from FK Breeze.
Yeah, big up to FK Breeze. Lads, Benn going back down to 147 could go like Roy Jones Jr. when he lost to Antonio Tarver because of, which is true. Very, very good point. Potentially it could be that. But what they did, which was quite clever, they didn't obviously come in at, 160. They didn't weigh in on 160 on the night. I think they came in at about 156, 154. So it's not that much of a dip. So I reckon Benn will be all right going back down to welterweight, man. Plus, he's more comfortable at that weight as well. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he also got so tired in the later rounds as well. He's been inactive as well as putting on that big muscle mass as well. It's going to get tired in the later rounds, man. So massive credit to both fighters, man, because they both had their issues going into the fight.
Benn going back down to 147, right? At the moment, there's 3 champions in the 147. So you got Marius Barrios, Boots Ennis, and who's the third person?
Brian Norman Jr.
So out of them 3, who would you want Benn to fight next?
If I were all right, so I'm gonna put my Eddie Hearn hat on. Eddie Hearn. I'm gonna put my Eddie Hearn hat on. So if I had a choice between Brian Norman Jr. and Boots Ennis or Mario Barrios, for me, it's an easy one, man. I would have to go with Mario Barrios, man, in this situation, man. Plus, he's kind of got his mind that he wants to be a WBC champion because of his dad. He wants to follow that path, man. So if that's what he's manifesting, I think he should just continue to focus on that route. And I think that fight is very doable as well. Mario Barrios, I'm sure Eddie Hearn will come up with a deal or package that he's going to be happy with, and they can do the fight in the States. I'm sure after this fight, everyone knows who Conor Benn is now in the States, man. So it's a good advert to the American fan base to, what Conor Benn could potentially do. So, yeah, I'm going for Mario El Azteca Barrios. Then Brian Norman Jr. Then Boots would obviously be the last, man, because Boots, especially at that weight class, man, he's definitely the best out there.
So just after that performance show yesterday from Conor Benn, would that be Boots Ennis?
No. I'm not gonna lie to you, because that fight yesterday, we can't really see it as skill, no, something great, man. It's great because it was a tremendous scrap. But in terms of like technique, it was more of a scrap as the fighting for pride. I'm sure if it was different surnames, that you won't see that kind of fight. If it wasn't so personal, you wouldn't see that kind of fight. They wouldn't be so open. But I think Eubank's experience having those wars with like a George Groves, with James DeGale, with who else was I thinking of? Who's the other person he's been there with? Billy Joe. These fights have kind of built him up to be at that point, whereas Benn is having his first proper fight in Eubank.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big difference, man.
Yeah.
So might have Pac first. So it could be. Do you think Manny Pacquiao is gonna come out of retirement to fight El Azteca Barrios for the WBC championship?
Money talks.
I would say speed and sharpness would cause problems against Boots. Yep. He's very explosive, though. We have to say he's very explosive like his dad. And if he lands those big shots, man, like very explosive. I reckon if it wasn't for Junior's weight, then that would have been a problem. Someone, if he's landing them shots against someone that's around his weight class, could be a different story, man. So yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens, cuz, man. But yeah, who you going for, man? Who you going for? If you were Eddie Hearn right now, you're sitting down with Conor.
I wouldn't go for Barrios. I'll go for not Boots. What's his name?
Norman.
Yeah, I'll go for Norman.
Ryan Norman Jr.
Ryan Norman Jr. Yeah.
Why are you saying Ryan Norman Jr.? That's interesting, man. What are you saying that for?
Because I think we need to put some respect on Barrios' name. He is a champion.
Yeah.
And he's shown that he's a champion. He's defended his title. Norman, I haven't really seen much of him. Obviously, the fight him and Boots was supposed to happen, never materialized. So I'm thinking, do you know what? Yeah, fight Conor Benn.
Okay.
That way, Conor Benn wants to beat Norman, and then he can fight for the WEC if he beats Barrios. And hey, you got Conor Benn and Boots undisputed.
Ooh, okay. Look, so Tom, thank you so much, people, for just getting involved in a tremendous show today. We've got really good engagement. It's really good. Tom's obviously saying, I feel like Ben caught Eubank because Junior had to sit in the pocket and hit. No power, no legs. So we saw Ben rise to the occasion. He deserves huge credit, but he was hitting a sitting duck. Boy, it was just one of those situations. Norman can hit, and he's got decent hand speed as well, which I 100% agree. I think it's safe to say what we saw yesterday, guys, was an instant classic. It was a tremendous scrap, but it was a personal war. I think they were doing things that they wouldn't possibly do in a normal standard fight. This because the stakes was a little bit higher. Super personal, with the fathers and everyone that's involved, the legacy, the history. It's safe to say that these guys can get away with what we saw yesterday, because it was great entertainment, man. I can't even lie to you, cuz that fight wasn't the prettiest to watch in terms of technique and ring generalships and certain bits, but it was nice to see in terms of it just being a all-out scrap, just sheer grit, pride. It was just fighting for the honor of the name. It was a good watch, man. So they are a copy of the dads, and I'm just so happy that we obviously got to see Senior there as well, man. He just made the show by just him just showing up. So big up to Christopher Livingston Eubank Senior, man, and big up to Junior as well, man. And big up to Conor Benn. I'm a new fan of him now, man. I'm a new fan. He's earned my respect, even though my respect doesn't probably mean nothing to him, man. But I'm just saying, yeah, I respect him, man. So big up to him.
All right then. Well, roll on. When's the next event? Oh, next week.
Next week, cuz, man. Next week we have a few things that's happening next week, man. But yeah, we've obviously got the Canelo fight that's also happening next week, so that should be it's coming up, so that should be interesting as well. We've obviously got the LA, the famous Times Square card as well. That's going to be tremendous as well. That's coming up. So, cuz there's a few things coming up in boxing, man. But once again, big up to you, cuz this is obviously episode 198. 2 more away from 200. So
Yeah.
just wanted to big up you for the consistency, the energies. Just doing these shows. We have our days, we're humans, where we think, should we do a show? But we've gone past that point of, doing it for our own sake. We're doing it for the people. So these shows are just for you, and the access, the content that we put out there is for fans, by fans. We want to give you access into the boxing world, but through our content and perspective, but also get you to have a voice, which you are, during these shows, man. So big up to the people, big up to the community. Thank you so much. And also Guys, if you haven't seen the shorts, once again, I will just remind people, obviously, Abbas, you know, got to speak with Eddie Hearn during the presser after the event. But yeah, man, tremendous night, tremendous event. And Chris Eubank Jr. was obviously victorious. But Eubank, Benn, the rivalry still continues. But Benn, I'm sure, has earned so much respect from the British public and the world, man. So big up to the fighters, big up to the two warriors. It was just like their dads, they're carbon copies of their fathers, and the grit was shown on the night, man. And Rastafari, man, you know, like how Chris Eubank Sr. says, man. So big up to him. It was good to see him on the night, and it was good to see both legends embrace themselves. But cuz, I'm obviously going to hand it over to yourselves. So obviously going crazy. Big up to FK Breeze. So let me just read out these last few comments before we wrap up. Of course, but FK Breeze is saying Eubank had everything against him, even drained, still came up on top. Benn giving away disadvantages, put up a good fight, came from a rich childhood, but chose gritty life to make their dads proud. 100%. And appreciate you posting all of our comments and starting interesting discussions. Tom, without your, you know, your comments, without your views, you know, this isn't a show. Do you know what I mean? So big up to the people. Thank you so much for just, you know, getting involved in the discussions. Cuz, I'm going to hand it over to you, Mr. Sports Entertainment.
Yes. Yesterday was electrifying. It was a movie. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you for your continuous support. We've got something special coming up real soon. Have a lovely, productive week. Peace and love.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. Light up my scars with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a back by the end.